and welcome to another episode of the Electric in Norwegian. I'm Mats. This is a Renault from Jensen Scheele in Halden. Here we have some padded plastics, and this is, I don't know really what it is. Big screen, dominated by the slightly over-designed air vents here. This part looks nice. Seats are comfortable. It's French after all. Place in the back. It's okay. I miss an armrest back there, but okay. No glass roof, which is a bit unusual these days, actually. Alright, space down there. Deep, not so very big, but deep. Small space for your whatnots. Charger. Buttons for your aircon. Unlock. The rest is on the screen. This runs Android Automotive, not Android Auto. It runs that as well, of course. Same as the Volvo does. More space down here. You can move these things around sort of as you want. A bit like in the old X, actually. One cup holder. That's a bit strange in a new car, but fair enough. Power on off button, which you sort of need to use, which is a bit stupid, but that's how it is. Screen works very well. Let's just demonstrate that, shall we? Of course, it has Google Assistant, so you can tell it to navigate anywhere. Unlike Tesla and Mercedes and a few other cars, which just plans the entire trip, here you have to plan your own charge stops. It does come up with suggestions, but it's a little bit, it could have been done better. But this screen is really nice. You have these buttons on here. This is for your voice control. You can program this one to do whatever you want. Here you toggle between your, I don't know exactly what, to be perfectly honest, media probably. These are your region pedals. Here you can put it in sport and whatnot. It just controls, there's no air suspension here, so you just have steering, it gets a little bit sharper, and the throttle gets sharper. Here you have your adaptive cruise. And here on the view, you can change this to show different things. Yes, of course, this toggle switch here. You can go through what you wanted to show. Tire pressure, distance, range, and so on. The interior is a strange mix of materials, because you have this kind of slightly padded surfaces. And then you have, and this. They're all nice. And then you have this, which is plastic, and this edge here, just sharp and not very, it shouldn't have been there at all. It should have been covered with something. And this tacky plastic here. I don't mind being tacky here because you don't touch this surface. You do sometimes touch some of these. And down here, but that's okay, because that's, again, you don't, the normal, this is okay. It's nothing, this is a rubber patch down there. It's all nice. It's just a little bit, it's a strange mix of materials, and some very cheap materials maybe in places where they shouldn't be. And then you have some slight leather covering. It's just, but it's a nice place to sit. It all works very well. Their economics are good. Apart from a few things. So you come and go into the screen here. You just go here, and then you go on there on electric. When you can consumption, you get this graph. All very nice, but how do I reset it? Touch here, no. I don't know how to reset it, which is slightly annoying. And then you have this here. This is a mirror. This is what you normally see. Not very much. And then you have, this is a camera. When you get used to it, it actually works rather well. These mirrors, the side mirrors, are very big and very nice to use. As I was saying, the exterior, I really like this. It's not the biggest car in the world, but I do like the look of it. Rear doors is by old Alfa Romeo 156 style door handles, which I really like, because I had one of those cars and I love them. A bit simpler door cards in the back. Rear seat space is, well, I can't sit behind myself. And if you go get in there, in a way, you sort of find that I can't sit. I can sit there if I remove the seat forward, but there's not that much headroom. And so if you have big kids or teenagers, or a lot of big adult friends, then you need a bigger car, or you need people in the front that are short of leg, to put it that way. Other than that, it's a nice place. It should have been a middle armrest here. It isn't. So sort of get the feeling that it's sort of cheaped out a little bit on money in the back, which is a bit sad. You have your USBs down here and your ventilation up here, so it's sort of okay, but it could have been better. The back, I didn't like the look of this. Push this button, it jumps out a little bit, and you just flip it up. It's not the biggest in the world. You can put the seats down, of course, and get more space. No USB, no cigarette lighter, power socket here. You have some space here for your charge cables, which is nice. If a little bit, yeah, it's not bad though. There's no frunk in this one because it's just stacked with power electronics and stuff, which is sad. Renault has only been building EVs for 10 years now, so they really should have been able to package things differently, but that's their choice, their prerogative. Of course, they build this thing. I forgot to mention in the interior this thing. The French have had some sort of this for 25-30 years now, I think, running your volume and your source and stuff. It's once you get to know how it works, it's really rather intuitive. Now, let's go on our usual trip and see how it fares, shall we? I picked this one up the other day on Friday, and then I took the Hongqi, the EHS9 home, because we were having a stand at a motor show yesterday, so I needed to bring a few big boxes and stuff. So I took the big car, and the Hongqi is many things, but it is superiorly comfortable after all. One little slight notice on the Hongqi, the sound system I think sounded a lot better this time, because I know that was one of the critics I had of it last time I drove it. This time I liked it a lot more, I don't know why. Anyway, so to go from Hongqi to this, well, that's a bit of a change, because initially it feels a bit of a letdown. But then you sort of lean into it, and then you sit properly down into the seat, and you realize that this thing is French. It's comfortable, like it's supposed to be. And it has around 200 horses. It has a range of, I think, indicated 458 kilometers or something. Like, imagine it does 350 to 400 kilometers in the real world. It has a 60 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is innovative because that's only 110 millimeters thick, so it's really thin. So it makes it possible to lift the car up without maybe having a thick floor, so you sort of have more space for your legs. You sit more natural, possibly. And the 60 kilowatt hour pack, which is a decent size. It's not too big and it's not too small. It still gives it a decent range. Although since I can't manage to zero out any of this car's trip meters, I don't know. The consumption is stuck at 170 watt hours since recharge. That doesn't seem to move, but there you have it. But the seats are really nice here, they're comfortable. The car is relatively quiet. Suspension is comfortable. Yes, you can put the thing in sport and it sort of goes decent enough. And one thing about the brake pedal, it's more like an on-off switch. It's not very much travel in it and it sort of bites instantly. So yeah, once you get to know it, it's okay, but it's really not the most progressive thing in the world. It's a matter of getting used to it, of course, but yeah, I don't know, maybe they've been thinking that you use the regen and then the brakes are the brakes, but well, yeah. Just got a coffee now. There was a Renault Zoe there. I took a another shot through the menu system of this car. It's rather extensive, and I still can't reset the chip computer or the consumption I have. That's really annoying in those cars where such simple tasks are seemingly difficult, and that because it shouldn't be necessary to make it difficult. It should be just a simple button. Here is a push OK to reset or whatever it is, you know. But it isn't, and it's just stupid. Particularly from a company like Renault, which has been building cars like forever. But I found that these seats have actually massaging in them. Now, of course, coming from the Hongqi, which has really, when that massage is on level 3, it grabs you properly. And this is more like a light touch, but it's there and it's nice and it works its way. I'm also surprised because it's buried in the menu. It's not difficult to find, it's just shouldn't be there. So far so good, we're at 92%, 302 kilometers indicated range. We've been driving for 20 minutes roughly, and about 25-30 kilometers. It's 12 degrees outside, so and overcast, and it has been raining, so it's sort of subpar when it comes to the conditions, but that's part of life, and it's definitely part of life in the northern hemisphere in September. The consumption is still stuck on 170, just hasn't moved a bit. I think that's very high considering this car is it's not a Model 3 and it's not an Ioniq, but still it could have been better. Just hydrocarbons there from the old Chevrolet we've been following for the last 10 kilometers or so. But it's nice, it's out on a Sunday, and it's always nice seeing historic cars like that out on the road. We're on the motorway now. I stopped the car just before this, and it came up with a sort of trip summary report thing, and it said we've been driving around 45-50 kilometers and had a consumption of 174 watt hours, which is a little bit high, but that's how it is. Now we're on the motorway, as you can see. It's relatively quiet in there. It's a bit of wind noise, particularly from these big mirrors. It's very good mirrors, but because they're so big, they generate a bit of wind noise. There's not that much tire noise in here. It's actually relatively quiet, and it's comfortable. And yeah, you have plenty of power. It's easy to see out. You have good mirrors. Oh yeah, the camera rear view mirror unit. I turned it back to just being a rear view mirror, and it had gotten really hot. So clearly it should have been a little bit more cooling going on in that small computer in there. As a rear view mirror, it also works very well, even though the rear windscreen is narrow. It's a bit of being a letterbox, but it works after all. And if you want, you can just switch it over to being a camera again. It's not the most high-def camera in the entire world. It's sort of LCD screen from 2003, but it works and it does its job. But even in the dark, it works okay. And speaking of backing up in darkness, cameras in here, we have a 360 camera, and you have because the screen is relatively big, I think it's 10 inches or something like that. We have it's crisp and clear, and very good backup cameras in this one. So there's no reason to really hit anything. And there's a camera in the front too that turns on when you get close to things, which is a bit scary because but it's really nice to have if you're parking close to a hedge or a wall or whatever. Coming up on around 100 kilometers now. We have 74% and 242 kilometers indicated. There's no lane keep in this car, so I mean, at least not that I've been able to find. It does have an adaptive cruising that works just fine, they all do. Sound system is good. There's a bit of a rattle in here, but we've had that in other cars as well, both Berlin-made Motorway and also in the Porsche. So it's nothing new with rattles in new cars. But it's not a big thing. Just thought I should mention it. Just past 50% on battery. We're past the end point now. A bit. We're going to Halden, so we're going further than normally. We're at 158 kilometers indicated. So we can easily then assume we're doing 320, maybe 30 kilometers on a mixed route like this. Probably closer to 400 if you're on a country road with lower speed limits, and that's really not bad at all. Because this has a 60 kilowatt hour battery pack, so it can't do magic, and it apparently doesn't seem to be the most energy efficient thing in the entire world. So I'm actually pleased with that, considering the WLTP range estimate is 458 kilometers. The only thing, the Apple CarPlay sometimes sort of skips or loses contact, it seems, like a radio just falling out from time to time when you're listening to music or pods. Not constantly, but just for short periods of time. I don't know if that's a miscommunication between the Android Automotive and Apple or whatever it is, but I'm sure maybe they'll fix it in the future update. I never experienced this in any other car, so I don't know what it is. Now we are at Jensen Scheele, delivering the car off, and here we have the report. Not really all that bad. But it does give, this is not the entire distance, mind you, it does give this car, and I'm still at 44% left, and then indicated 144 kilometers. So it gives it a range of about 320 kilometers maybe on a mixed route. So 400 then on a, that's really nice. I like this car. It's comfortable, quiet, decent sound system, decent range, enough power. It could have been a lane keep, that's true, but it's really just a likeable place to be. So after all, and decent price and everything. So thanks again to Jensen Scheele, and thank you for watching, and do like, comment, subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye bye.